Hello, and welcome to the October 2012 edition of IMTSTV. I'm your host, Penny Brown. IMTS 2012 was nothing short of a phenomenon. At 1.2 million square feet with 1,909 exhibitors, more than 100,000 visitors made their way through McCormick Place to take part in the world's most dynamic manufacturing event. The whole thing kicked off with an opening ceremony from the manufacturing stage, which included appearances by Acting Secretary of Commerce Dr. Rebecca Blank, Local Motors co-founder and CEO Jay Rogers, AMT President Doug Woods, and Deutsche Messe Senior Vice President Wolfgang Peck. It was the perfect opening to kick off 6 dynamic days of IMTS. As the week went on, the momentum just kept going, and one of the high points was welcoming the 100,000th visitor into McCormick Place, John Adamczyk, Global Manager of Engineering Services at Littelfuse. IMTS 2012 saw the highest attendance of any show since 2002. This year also marked the first ever co-location between IMTS and Industrial Automation North America, an exhibition of automation-related equipment that found its home in the East Building. During IMTS, Deutsche Messe AG announced an agreement with AMT to bring IANA back to IMTS 2014. Another exciting high point was the Saturday morning unveiling of the Local Motors Rally Fighter, which was built right on the show floor in the Emerging Technology Center. Local Motors was the featured company in the collaborative manufacturing area of the ETC, and they were able to show their innovative approach to automotive design and manufacturing. We're here with AMT Vice President of Exhibitions and Communications, Peter Eelman, and the Rally Fighter at IMTS 2012 was just unveiled. How do you think it looks?
Oh, it's fantastic. When we first saw the design, and it looks so different than the original Rally Fighter with the IMTS blue and orange, that we thought this kind of striking silver color would be a really nice contrast, and we've really got a couple of sharp cars here, don't you think?
Absolutely. So what's kind of the inspiration behind the design?
Well, one of the things that this car carries is a lot of different elements of IMTS. If you go across right behind where the guys are taking pictures right now, all of the pavilion icons are represented, so we have all of the elements of IMTS captured. There are a few kind of graphic treatments that represent some of the machines and some of the products that are being built out here on the floor. It really encompasses everything that IMTS is. So we were excited to see the design, and it was actually it was a tough choice. The top 3 that we kind of narrowed it down to could have been any of the 3. We were really excited by the designs that came forward. We could build a dozen cars with all the designs we have.
Well, that would be certainly an interesting proposition. So now what happens to these cars? Where do they go?
Well, we are, after we wrap up today, both of the cars are going to sneak out the back door this afternoon, but then we're going to load them up and ship them back to AMT headquarters in McLean, Virginia. And we are going to start to take them around the country in early IMTS promotion for 2014. And we're looking at some changes to one of the 2 that is going to bring it in line with some of our objectives in the new Workforce Smart Force training programs.
That's great. I can't. So where do I sign up to drive?
Penny, you've already been featured in a lot of cars on IMTS TV, so why not one more?
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you so much. Very exciting. How are you going to top it in 2014?
We'll know that in 2014, right?
Exactly. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Here with AMT President Doug Woods at the unveiling of the IMTS Rally Fighter. How do you think it looks?
Fantastic. I am really impressed. I mean, I knew from the basic designs when I saw it early what it was going to be conceptually, but until you see it with the real car, it's much better in real life.
Absolutely. So how do you think this collaborative manufacturing theme and this fit in with IMTS and the theme of the ETC?
You know, I think this was fantastic. It's hard for people to capture the concept of what does collaborative manufacturing really mean. And when you actually can now come here and understand, okay, some of these designs came from people all over the internet. Those designs came to a team that kind of put those products together, and then the teams were able to put that into a finished car here. All of a sudden, the abstract of, okay, CADs, designs, internet contest, you know, actual car components and teams putting cars together starts to come together in one complete solution. So it's one thing when you put posters up and talk about it. It's another when you even have a video. But when you can actually have the real thing here for people watching it come together, it's fantastic. And the team then was able to explain the entire time what they did, how they did it, where they got the information, so the whole concept was regularly being interactively shared with all the visitors that were coming here.
Did you hear any feedback during the week from visitors about this?
People loved it. I mean, I ran into a lot of people that first of all loved the car that we built earlier in the year, just the colors and just seeing that go around. And then once they could start to see this taking shape and really see what the car was and how it was coming together, it was really exciting because a lot of guys that are here and even, you know, a lot of the women engineers, people that are coming around are thinking, wow, this is cool. This is the kind of stuff I do. And to see a car it's not your average car. I mean, it's not your father's Oldsmobile or anything. I mean, it's a pretty darn cool car. So a lot of people were saying it was one of the more fun and interesting things they could do while here. And then work into the whole rest of the ETC to kind of go, okay, that's fun and neat. How is that from a technology or a platform concept fit in with additive and MT Connect and MT Insight with collaborative manufacturing to one kind of overall data-driven kind of manufacturing solution? I think that was what was neat.
Arm wrestling match between you and Peter to determine who drives it first?
Well, I think the thing is we've got two, so what we're going to do is maybe he gets them on odd and even days. He can take the blue one, I'm going to take the silver one on the other days, but I think we can share now, but I can't wait to drive one of these.
Excellent. I hope I get to as well. Thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Penny.
And now we're here with Buddy Crisp of Locomotors, just moments after the IMTS Rally Fighter was revealed in the Emerging Technology Center. How are you today, Buddy?
Oh, I'm doing great, thank you.
So how did it go for you this week?
Honestly, the week went without a hitch. The build team prepared very well. The IMTS crew helped us out with anything we needed to keep our build going, and we actually finished the build ahead of schedule.
So what time did you finish this?
Well, now's the embarrassing part. We finished about 2 o'clock this morning with the wrap, but every other day we were able to finish and leave the building at 6 o'clock with all the other vendors, so we're quite happy.
That's pretty good, because I kind of expected you might be, you know, really trying to get it done this morning, so that's good. Yeah. What kind of, I guess, logistical challenges did it pose to try to build a car here like this?
Some of the bigger logistical challenges were to be able to lift the engine up, to be able to get it up on the cradle to lift it into the car. So we had to bring an engine hoist from our factory in Chandler to be able to do that. Starting the engine to make sure that everything worked properly, there were no leaks in the system, charge the air conditioning, make sure there's no air bubbles in the power steering. We actually had to get special permission to be able to start the car on day 3 of the build, and so that worked out very well. We found one little water leak, fixed that, and other than that, very smooth.
What kind of traffic did you get here?
Oh, we were swamped with traffic. We have 3 actual booths right here. One where the hero car is that Heather True had the design she did, and we had a little sales booth and the build booth. And we were busy the entire time. There was no lulls at all.
Well, it was really great to have you here. How do you think it went?
It went very well. We got a lot of contacts, met a lot of nice new people. Actually got a few guys who would like to purchase one of these cars, so that we're very happy about that. That's a big bonus for us. So yeah, overall a great experience for Locomotors here at IMTS.
The week was also marked by other exciting events, including booth appearances by drivers from the Joe Gibbs Racing Team. Brian Scott, driver of the number 11 Dollar General Toyota Camry, and Joey Logano, driver of the number 20 Home Depot Toyota Camry, both could be found on the show floor during the week. Additionally, Choose Chicago dedicated a painting of Chicago to IMTS show management as a thank you for making the Windy City home of IMTS. If you were able to join us in Chicago, we hope the show met or exceeded all your expectations. And if you weren't with us in McCormick Place this year, don't worry. You can see videos of all the action in the IMTS video library, located at imts.com/video. Stay tuned. Up next is an interview with Peter Eelman, AMT's Vice President of Exhibitions and Communications, as we get his thoughts on IMTS 2012 and a look ahead to what's coming in 2014. Don't go away.
Need to connect with your customers using social media? Be there with IMTS.com. Everyone has been chatting about connecting with their fans or customers on Twitter and Facebook and other sites to discuss or bemoan what's happening. So what does this have to do with manufacturing? Everything. That's because social media isn't an isolated tactic. It is just one of the tools you can use to connect and engage your customers. Ask them how their business is faring. Ask them what they think about the current political atmosphere in Washington. Or ask them how you can help them succeed. Another social media option, and one that can increase traffic to your website by 55%, is to write a blog. Ask your employees. Some may already be writing blogs on their own. Engage them in promoting your company, your products, or your services. Have them write about how they help a customer, or better yet, ask that customer how your employee helped them. Everyone is talking. Are you part of the conversation? People don't buy from companies or a website, they buy from people, and they are more likely to buy from people they know or feel connected to. So connect with the IMTS Show on Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. Or read our blog by visiting imts.com/blog. IMTS.com. Be there, online with your customers.
Peter Eelman first became involved with IMTS in the 1980s as an exhibitor, and here as the Vice President of Exhibitions and Communications with AMT, he's been overseeing the show since 1996. How are you today, Peter?
Good. How are you, Penny?
I'm fantastic. So everything about IMTS 2012 was fantastic. What kind of feedback have you been hearing?
Well, it's really gratifying to have a show like IMTS reach the height that IMTS 2012 did. You saw, as being on site with IMTSTV, it was a show that kind of from the first moments we had a feeling, a buzz, a excitement that we hadn't felt in many years. We've had good shows, we've had very interesting times, ups and downs, but IMTS 2012 felt different. It felt like manufacturing is really taking a hold again in the U.S., and that was evidenced by some of the numbers in registrations that we haven't seen in a dozen years, really, since 2000.
That's wonderful news. Is there any one thing that you really think stood out this year?
Well, I think it was a combination rather than one thing. I think what we're seeing is that manufacturing in general is beginning to kind of grasp things like reshoring and finding ways, understanding that it's innovation and efficiency that is going to drive successful manufacturing. And the fact that that's being understood by the manufacturers themselves is a really good sign for long-term growth in the United States. We're excited about what the show said.
Very much so. So while you were at the show, the announcement came down that you signed with Deutsche Messe for another year with the IANA, Industrial Automation North America. What kind of feedback did you get from that?
Well, this was something that we've for many years developed a partnership with Deutsche Messe to bring their industrial automation shows into IMTS. It's a very successful show series around the world. It's never been done in the United States, but it brings in an element that's very close to the typical IMTS audience, but not exactly. It expands it a little bit. We brought in some fluid power companies. We brought in some industrial automation, that type of company, and that technology is really a good complement to IMTS. In their first effort at this show, they oversold the space we'd allotted to them, and they brought us some fresh new visitors as well, all of which the feedback we're getting is tremendous. They really thought the show was worth their time, so that's going to help us grow long term. As we were happy and IANA was happy, we decided that rather than kind of wait, let's just tell the world right at the show, and we did a press conference and a signing that as we look forward to IMTS 2014, they're going to be a strong partner again, and in fact we're allotting even more space to the IANA part of IMTS, the Industrial Automation North America segment.
Very exciting. Good expansion for IMTS, I think. So another really eye-catching thing on the floor, of course, was that car build in the Emerging Technology Center. So what are we doing with the cars now?
Well, the cars are, they've made a successful return here to McLean, Virginia. We've got a few things to do to get them chartered and legal and get the license plates put on them. And the IMTS 2012 blue car is going to have a little peel job done, and we're going to take that 12 and make it 14. So you'll see plenty of that car in the near future. And then we're looking at some options for the silver car, the one that was actually built on site. That one is, it's got to be chartered yet. That one is not quite finished, but we were able to drive it right out of the hall. I was an eyewitness. We started it up as soon as the show broke and drove it down the aisle and out of McCormick Place and into a tractor trailer. So it runs and operates. It's, as I said, it's here in Virginia, and we're investigating a few different uses for it, one of which may be as part of our initiatives in the educational area. We'll be taking the car to some of our student functions and kind of an outreach as part of our Smart Force Development program.
Yes, also the Student Summit went very well this year too, so that's another good part of that to keep it going. So as you're looking toward 2014, what sort of elements are you considering as you plan that show?
Well, you know, we start to look at things that both in the general manufacturing environment and in the general economy are factors that we might look at as baselines for things like the Emerging Technology Center. And something that's kind of rolling around in our heads right now is energy and uses of energy. So as we're starting the planning of the Emerging Technology Center 2014, I think you'll see things like electric and battery and wind power and those types of things featured in some way that relates to our manufacturing world.
Very good. So it seems almost hard to believe because it feels like IMTS just closed, but the deadline for initial space applications just passed. When is that going to be ready?
We are very excited actually about the response already. We're most of the way to 1 million square feet already. Just in the on-time applications. There's still a week or two that we're sifting through, so if you haven't gotten your app in, get it in right now so that you can get in that initial draw. What we'll be doing over the next several months is grouping all the applications into the various pavilions. Then we take a look at the size requests and various special needs of the exhibitors, and we begin the process of doing the 2014 layout. IMTS is very different. We do not have kind of points or space allocation system that rigidly locks people in place. We do our best to accommodate needs and accommodate requests. We've got some different sizes and different needs for some of the exhibitors based on the weight of their equipment. So we group all that together and study it from about now, November, through the end of the year. And we'll be testing some of our initial space layouts in January or so. The space assignments for 2014 are generally released about the first week in April of 2013.
So one last question here. IMTS has signed with McCormick through the next few years. Give us the breakdown on that.
Well, shortly after IMTS, really just about 10 days after we left town, we had a quick return to Chicago, and we had a press conference with Mayor Rahm Emanuel. And we were very pleased to join with the National Restaurant Association in announcing that our two shows, which were a major participant in the recent labor reform and building reform, we were agreeing to extend our leases for a couple of more shows. That's a good faith gesture for two sides that we really worked together and developed a better future for McCormick Place, and we wanted to show tangibly that, hey, this is where we want to be, this is where we want to be long term, and we're willing to make that commitment. So IMTS now is set at Chicago all the way through the year 2020.
Great news for the city and good news for IMTS too.
It is indeed. We're excited about it because this is really the first show that we were fully able to take advantage of several of the reforms and changes that took place over the last several years. And the exhibitors really, really benefited. It was a very comfortable, very controlled move in and move out. We had very little problems as far as working together. Everyone really understood on all sides that it's in everybody's best interest to cooperate and put together a really great event. And you saw the result. It was really first class on all respects, and we want to be there because that is an audience that you really can't replicate anywhere else in the United States. Over 100,000 registrations.
Yeah, very good. It speaks to a lot of hard work on show management side as well as on the city and the state side, so good news.
So we're ready to get to work again for 2014.
Oh yeah, looking forward to it. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Peter.
You're welcome. Let's go, 2014.
Yes, we'll be right back.
The best way to plan your visit to IMTS 2014 is to first visit IMTS.com. It's the optimum way to make the most of your stay, driving you to all the advanced technology and processes you've come to see. The new features at IMTS.com include an interactive exhibitor directory and floor plan to easily pinpoint exhibitor locations. The IMTS.com online exhibitor showrooms have complete information on each of the 1,200 exhibitors. Customize your IMTS itinerary with the My Show floor plan. Here, you can create a custom list of companies that are exhibiting at IMTS 2014. Make notes on those exhibitors and print a highlighted floor plan to help you make the most of your time at IMTS. Plus, your agenda will also be accessible on kiosks throughout the show. The international section has everything on visas, registration, and representative offices around the world. Add IMTS to your Outlook calendar, arrange your visit through Trip Assistance, and pre-plan your tour through My Show. IMTS.com is your ticket to a more efficiently planned, more enjoyable visit to IMTS 2014. Be there.
Bringing us some of the latest headlines from around the manufacturing industry is Kate Fritz. How are you today, Kate?
I'm doing well, Penny.
So what's some of the news going on right now?
Well, just this week, the government and leading manufacturing companies announced a new program to help veterans get jobs when they come back from war.
It sounds like a really important initiative, so give us some of the news.
The unemployment rate for veterans is generally lower than overall unemployment, but for Iraq and Afghanistan veterans, the rate is about 2% higher. Fortunately, the government and some of our top manufacturing companies are doing something about it. On Monday, October 15th, GE, Alcoa, Boeing, and Lockheed Martin announced that they are providing $6 million in seed money for a new program designed to help veterans gain the skills necessary to fill some of the estimated 600,000 high-tech manufacturing jobs that remain open because employers can't find qualified applicants. It will be initially offered in 10 cities. It will be a combined effort of companies and local community and technology colleges that will offer training and certification in areas like electronics, welding, and machining. The first class of veterans will be enrolled in January near GE Aviation's manufacturing hub at Cincinnati State Technical and Community College in Ohio. Additional sites will open throughout 2013. Organizers believe the program will help 15,000 veterans qualify for careers in manufacturing. And keep in mind, manufacturing jobs pay about 27% more on average than non-manufacturing jobs. Additionally, the White House has directed the Pentagon to provide testing and credentials for machinists and welders from NIMS, the National Institute for Metalworking Skills, to returning military personnel so that they have an identifiable industry certification when they are looking for a job. If you have any questions about these programs, you can always contact AMT's Vice President for Smart Force Development, Greg Jones, by email or phone. In other economic news, earlier this month, the Institute for Supply Management released the Purchasing Managers Index. The PMI is the earliest indicator released each month, and the value denotes whether there is expanding or contracting manufacturing activity, with any value over 50 representing expansion. The good news is that September's index was 51.5, up from 49.6 in August. This is particularly positive for the manufacturing community because the previous 3 summer months had all been below 50, reflecting contraction. We also wanted to make sure everyone heard about another company's decision to keep manufacturing here in the U.S. instead of offshoring to Asia. Apparently, officials with Deere Hitachi Construction Machinery Corporation were looking at putting in new production lines in China or Japan. Instead, they decided to expand their Kernersville, North Carolina plant with a $97 million capital investment that will bolster operations by 60%. It will also bring more than 300 new jobs in areas like assembling, logistics, machining, and welding, not to mention the additional jobs that vendors and suppliers will add as a result of the expansion. The plan also includes buying 60 acres and opening a second plant with 330,000 square feet in nearby North Park. The plant is a partnership between Hitachi Construction Machinery Corporation Limited of Japan and Deere & Co. of Moline, Illinois. The expanded operations will enable the plant to make more excavators for the mining and construction industries, as well as keep up with demand for its 47 metric ton machine. All good news, right, Penny?
Absolutely, especially the news about the jobs programs for vets. Now, if you'd like to know anything else about Smart Force development, you can contact Greg Jones at gjones@amtonline.org. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Doug Woods, President of AMT, the Association for Manufacturing Technology. In honor of Manufacturing Day, let's take a look at exactly what manufacturing means to the U.S. economy and the ways that we can strengthen it for our future. Manufacturing has long been a source of job creation and has promoted a strong and stable middle class. It has promoted overall economic growth for the nation and brought us to a position of strength within the industrialized world. But as the years have gone on, the industry has lost some of its luster in the public's eye. Restrictive government policies and regulations have come into place, making it harder for manufacturing companies to find their footing and compete on a global scale. Misperceptions have formed about manufacturing careers, and young people have steered away from them. Hence, the skills gap has begun to form. Now, as older skilled manufacturing professionals move into retirement, there is a talent void among the workforce and no one to take their place. As unemployment hovers over the United States like a black cloud, thousands of manufacturing jobs go unfilled because companies can't find workers with the skills they need. But all along, the industry has continued to build a better way and a better life for people around the world through innovations that make everyday life possible. Those of us in and around the industry continue to believe in its power. There's no better time than now to put it on a path to a brighter future. This is why manufacturing matters to us and why it should matter to everyone. These are high-tech, good-paying careers that can ensure a stable middle class. We need to ensure that we maintain an ability to build equipment and machinery for our own military, not reducing our manufacturing base to the point where we depend on companies in other countries around the world to produce the products that we need for our own defense. It's important that we continue in our role as the most innovative country in the world, keeping ourselves in a position of leadership rather than following the lead of others. We must strive to continue creating innovations in the medical, energy, automotive, and aerospace industries to make sure we have a better world now and in the future. We can build better manufacturing industry by promoting innovation through R&D, creating incentives that will bring new products and manufacturing technology to a premier position in the industry. We also must work to increase global competitiveness in U.S. manufacturers, eliminating prohibitive trade policies and making the U.S. the best place in the world to do business. It's also important that we turn the workforce into a smart force, a generation of critically thinking, technically skilled, motivated people that will fill millions of high-tech manufacturing jobs that are going unfilled today. A national manufacturing policy will get us there. To learn more about the plan AMT has developed called the Manufacturing Mandate, go to www.amtonline.org/mandate. It's a blueprint for success in ensuring the U.S. builds and maintains a strong manufacturing industry. We're proud to take part in Manufacturing Day, and I hope all of us can work together to create a better future for the industry.
IMTS features the technologies of right now up on the show floor, but you can also get a glimpse of its future right here in the NIM Student Skills Center. Students from all over the country come right here to learn about manufacturing from a technology standpoint and also about the careers that are available in this exciting industry.
The Student Skills Center is an opportunity to connect young people with today's industry. Oftentimes they don't know very much about manufacturing, engineering, and technology, and this gives them an opportunity to see the newest technology that's out there, connect with industry representatives, and maybe start planning a future with this industry. We've had well over 1,000 students here every day. We're expecting another 1,000 tomorrow, and ultimately it's probably going to be around 6,000 for the week, which is great.
Do you think the kids have gotten a lot out of it?
Oh, definitely. This year more than ever, because we've had so many interactive displays down here where they can actually touch and feel and simulate things. It goes a lot further than a table full of brochures, so they're really learning and being stimulated by it.
What's one of the most popular stops down here?
That everything is kind of taking its fair share, but we do have a FIRST robotics team here. OMAX brought them in, and they brought a basketball shooting robot, so that's been pretty popular. That or the Chilean miner rescue capsule that came in thanks to the Edge Factor, and students have actually been going up there, getting inside of it, taking pictures, and it was fun.
Very good. So why do you think it's important to take this message to young people?
Because oftentimes they don't get it anywhere else. We try to work with schools and counties across the country to encourage STEM education and the importance of it, and oftentimes they just don't learn about it in their schools, so we're stepping in from the industry side and giving them that chance to learn about a world they might have never really known about.
So beyond students, you've had some guidance counselors and teachers here too, correct? And what do you have for them?
We had about a 2-hour conference for them on Wednesday to stress all the same points, because while students are often unaware of the industry, it sort of begins with principals and guidance counselors, because they're the ones who are funding the training programs at high schools, and they're the ones that are offering students the different pathways if they are looking for a vocational or technical field.
Do you think you've given any of them like kind of a light bulb moment about it?
Oh, definitely. We had some great speakers from Sandvik and Edge Factor, also from the Chicago Manufacturing Renaissance Council. So they, I think, really had an eye-opener, and hopefully take that home and start getting some kids in our industry.
I'm technically an ambassador for the Career Launchpad, and it's explaining to the youth about the career opportunities and possibilities that manufacturing can provide for them, and just getting them exposed to really what's out there for them, and really that this is a very viable and great career to get into. I believe there were some light bulbs that definitely went on, and I think this is something that could be a possibility for them, and probably something that they never even thought of before. So it was great exposing them to this, and hopefully what the industry needs is more youth and talent to really funnel the pipeline there. Well, my sales pitch would be, name 2 things in this world that are not manufactured, and really the answer to that would be nature, trees, grass, etc., and babies. Everything else that you deal with is manufactured, so it had to be made somewhere. And I tell them, even the shelves of Walmart and Target, guess what? The screws and objects don't magically appear on the shelves. They're actually manufactured somewhere, and it's good to get to know the back side of it, or at least the front side of it, to see where it's actually developed or created. Average salary typically for an operator, which is the entry-level position for a CNC machinist, that's about $15 an hour, and now I'm starting to see that even climb. And that's not including the overtime, the backlog of hours that they're going to have to be working. So it actually adds up to be even more than that. And you know, the career opportunities, or the chances for advancement, are even greater. So they could be making $20 to $25 an hour even a couple years out of school. So we train on CNC machines, which are, I guess, the it thing to do. We were doing it when it wasn't even the it thing to do many years ago. But now we're starting to see, we get calls from employers all the time just begging us, give us some resumes. You know, I can't find enough people. And even the CNC manufacturers, they'd say we'd sell more machines if we could attach an operator to it. So it's definitely very prevalent in the industry, and with the aging workforce, which I think is very kind of prevalent in the industry now, there's going to be folks exiting the industry, and you're going to need a lot more youth to come in there. So there's going to be a knowledge gap, or a knowledge vacuum, that's going to occur in the next decade. So even though the numbers might stay the same, it's going to be a lot of folks exiting who really are at that retirement age, the baby boomers, and you're going to have a lot of youth coming into it. So it'll be an exciting time, and great for development, great for technology, everything.
So I understand this is a machine that you sell to VOTEC schools and other educational programs. Yes. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it's a 2-axis knee mill. You can use it manually, or it can be a 2-axis CNC. It's got conversational programming, so it's very easy to use. It's a good entry-level machine for kids to learn on. They can learn the manual side of it, and then you can gradually work them into the CNC instead of throwing them into a full-blown CNC situation. We sell knee mills like this. We also have a line of bed mills and lathes and machining centers also.
Is this the only machine that you sell to students?
No, they have our machining centers also, but primarily this is the more popular one for the trade schools and things. Customers that I've talked to are wanting to hire, but the machinists aren't there to hire, so they're really looking hard to try to find the people to fill their positions.
So there's easy jobs to be had, in other words.
They're out there, yeah, definitely.
I'm guessing that Fanuc is using the Student Summit as kind of a recruiting tool. So what kind of outreach are you doing with students here?
Well, it's certainly a recruiting tool as well as it's a tool to expose students to jobs in manufacturing. I think students sometimes they don't know how advanced new industry is and how advanced robotics are, and sometimes think that factories are really sturdy, dangerous and dirty and dull places, but really it's not. Now with the way technology is advancing, we've got great things like robots and machines, and the technology just continues to grow, but the need for students with this type of training and skills and to go out there and operate this type of equipment, there's a desperate need in the market for it. Our big promotion is we're trying to certify students how to operate and program robots to get them job-ready skills so they can walk into a factory and know how to pick up a teach pendant and understand how to operate the robot. We think that's going to give them a significant leg up and help keep a lot of the jobs here in this country using automation.
Now, of the robots that you have here, any of these maybe ones that you sell to VOTEC schools or ones that are in use in that kind of setting?
Yes, that's actually these carts, that's exactly what they're used for. This is a training cart package that we offer to high schools, community colleges, universities, where we would train an instructor and certify that instructor. Then that instructor could certify their students as operators and programmers.
So how have your impressions been of the Student Summit this week?
Oh, it's been great. The kids come in here and they're just so excited to see the robots, and then we've got a hands-on demonstration, so I'm able to show them that it's not as hard as they think. I think some of the students maybe are intimidated, thinking that they're going to be punching in zeros and ones and doing all this binary code, and it's a lot easier than people think to operate our robots.
What kind of questions do they have about the industry?
A lot of the times they're, well, what would this robot be used for? And it's kind of hard to give an answer because they're used in so many varieties of applications. So I try to tell them, it's electronics, like, making cell phones or picking up big bags of dog food, or if you see a car commercial with all those yellow robots welding a car, that's us. And oh, you see the light bulbs go on. So.
Do you think that there's maybe been some aha moments of the kids you've seen here?
Oh, absolutely. I see. I had a kid yesterday that was just, "This is so cool. This is so cool," and it's like a light bulb goes off in his head that this could be a great potential career for me. So.
Being an industry where women really aren't represented too much, what drew you into getting an interest in it?
I kind of want to try looking into it because it's not something traditionally that women are a part of. And so I would like to change that. We went here a couple years back and we saw some really cool machines like that cut stuff with water. And I don't know, just seeing what pops up.
My dad brought me here. He got recommendation from her parents to come here, and I really want to be an engineer, so I wanted to see if this is really what I wanted to do, and I really want to do this. I like to see things progress, so to have something be on the drawing table that you took time to figure out and just like create and then see the final product and have all those steps in between and how much effort you put into it, it's very rewarding. I've seen so many cool things today, like planes and the car that goes about 300 miles an hour, like something to do with automotive technology and engineering. That'd be so cool. Because I really like to build stuff. I really like cars, and I think they're so cool, and I'd like to help progress that. Like Clara said, I want to help create equality in this field where women are very underrepresented, and I just want to show the guys that we can do this too. Like it's not just your thing.
So remember, the students that you see on the show floor today at IMTS are not just your future employees, they're also your future customers. Keep the outreach going so we can grow a strong manufacturing industry tomorrow. This has been Penny Brown with IMTS TV. Thanks for watching. And remember, if you'd like to relive any of the dynamic action of IMTS 2012, we've got plenty of videos for you in the IMTS video library. You can find it all at imts.com/video. We'll be back in December with a year-end edition of IMTS TV. This has been Penny Brown, your host of IMTS TV.